I'm Luann Pygott, and you are in my kitchen. So tonight, I'm going to make a lemon meringue pie. I'm making a lemon meringue pie for my mom for tomorrow because this is her favorite pie. So I'm going to bring that to her along with one of our favorite meals. It's her favorite too. It's chicken and rice casserole. I've made that on a live before. So I'm making the chicken and rice casserole in the morning. I won't do that on live again because like I said, I've already done that. But lemon meringue pie I've not done on a live. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. I've actually never made a lemon meringue pie. Not this kind of lemon meringue pie. I have made key lime pie or made it with lemon juice and called it lemon pie for 30 some years or something. I've made that, and that's the one that comes with the sweetened condensed milk. You have sweetened condensed milk, and then you have the lemon juice and eggs. Or you take the key lime juice, sweetened condensed milk, like the Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk, and eggs, and then you get key lime pie. And traditionally, key lime pie, which was invented in Florida, key lime pie is usually served with whipped cream. You can put meringue on it, but the traditional pie comes with whipped cream. I have made that pie for years and years and years. And when I wanted lemon pie, instead of using key lime juice, I would just use lemon juice and call it lemon pie and put meringue on it. And that's perfectly fine, but that's the only kind of lemon pie I've ever made. That's not real lemon meringue pie. That's key lime pie with lemon juice, which is, like I said, still really good. But I wanted to make an authentic lemon meringue pie, not the key lime version. I've never done that before. And so I am going to do it today. And I looked up a recipe. Typically when I want to find a certain thing, I do a search for a recipe, but my first place I search is Taste of Home. Taste of Home used to do a magazine. I loved the magazine. You can just look at it online now. So what Taste of Home is all recipes gathered from around the country of different home cooks. So they're all like home recipes, their mother's recipes, their grandmother's recipes. It's home cooked recipes that this place, Taste of Home, gathers together, and then everybody has their recipes in there. That is where I found my carrot cake, which is like the best carrot cake you've ever had in your life. People will kiss the ground I walk on if I make that carrot cake, and will not let me bring anything else. Like at work, I cannot bring, if we have a potluck, I have to bring that carrot cake. And now I have to make 2 of them, and they still wipe them clean. So if I don't make that carrot cake, they all cry. I didn't get a carrot cake. So that carrot cake came from Taste of Home. They got good recipes there. So I looked up Taste of Home lemon meringue pie. Not that other places don't have good recipes. They do. But I love that. That carrot cake was such a success. I thought I'm going to try Taste of Home first. So I found a lemon meringue pie recipe. And I'm going to try it. So I'm going to turn this around. And this is what we're going to do. First, I got to fix my phone so it's aimed right here. Okay, here's my stuff. Let me move this. Okay, so first I'm actually going to be over there. You know what? I think I'm going to move this over. Well, not yet. Okay, so it says, all right, first what we do, now you can make your own crust homemade. I did not do that. This is a partially baked, it's mostly baked, it's not really browned. Mostly baked pie crust. I like to pre-bake pie crust a little bit because if you don't and you get soggy crust, it ruins the whole thing. So this recipe even tells you to pre-bake it. So I pre-baked it even though you're going to bake it again. But, so that's a frozen pie crust. You can use whatever pie crust you want, but this recipe actually has a homemade one. I'm doing it easy. And so the filling's going to be homemade. That makes me happy. So it says for the filling, you're going to use 1 1/4 cups of sugar. That's what I have here. 1 1/4 cups of sugar. And then you're going to add to that, it says, I'm going to get this down where I can read it. It's in the shadow. You're going to combine sugar, cornstarch, flour, and salt. Okay, so I have the flour and salt mixed. This is 3 tablespoons of flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to add that to the sugar. And then we also have a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. This says flour and cornstarch in it, okay? So I guess it's going to firm up. Now, I've made a lemon meringue pie. The last one I made, I tried it with my lemon curd recipe. The lemon curd is absolutely fabulous. It is made really kind of more like a jelly and kind of to go on scones. Like in a place of jelly, like, you can have biscuits and jelly or just biscuits and lemon curd. It's basically lemon jelly, kind of like it. It's like a lemon pudding, but it's runnier. And even though it tasted really, really good, the lemon curd doesn't have any cornstarch or flour or anything to thicken. It's thick, but it's too runny for pie. So I put it in the pie and I would cut it and it would go, ooh. So it was too runny for pie. It was just, it's not that it's runny, it just doesn't hold its shape at all. So I said, okay, if I'm going to do lemon meringue pie, that lemon curd, even though it tastes really good, you can't slice the pie. It's too oozy. So I said, I'm going to try a regular lemon meringue pie. So I'm going to switch over here actually to a spoon to make sure, since this is just dry. And so I'm mixing the sugar, the flour, the salt, and the cornstarch into this dry ingredients. Okay, then it says you're going to stir in water. I have 1.5 cups of water. Oh, I want to go ahead before I get too far here. I want to go ahead and squeeze my lemon juice just so it's ready. I need 1/3 cup of lemon juice. So here's my 1.5 cups of water. And then here's my cup for my lemon juice and my lemons. And let me get this off of my cutting board actually. That's my recipe right there. I'm running out of room. Let's cut our lemon. This is my favorite lemon squeezer. These I've had out so they're not real cold. They squeeze better if they're not super cold. This is my favorite lemon squeezer. It is so easy. Catches all the seeds. So you just put your lemon in there. Fits in there. Push it down. Squeezes out all the juice. To me, this is the easiest lemon squeezer. I have the little bag I got those lemons in too. That's going to be my little, it's going to be my little trash bag for the lemon. Okay, so let's put that in the bag. So 1/3, is that what I said? 1/3 cup of lemon juice. Okay, here's the other half. Let's see how much that is. It's pretty juicy lemons. Let's see that it doesn't let the seeds through. And just squeeze it. This gives you a nice little arm workout. Work out your hands. That one turned all the way inside. Okay, how much do we have here? Okay, that's not quite 1/4 cup. So we're getting there. I hope I have enough lemons. I got 3 lemons. I always have a tendency when I'm making lemon pie or something, I always have a tendency to buy too many lemons. So I'm trying not to buy too many lemons. I've got 3. We'll see what happens here. Okay. I think this is going to work right here. Yeah, I think 2 is about all I needed. 2 big ones. Love the smell of lemons. Oh, it smells so good. One time I had some lemon soap when one of my nephews was a little bit younger. And he was over here and he said, I need to go wash my hands. And I said, okay, go in there to the sink, wash your hands. He came out and he said, your soap smells like lemons. I said, yes, it does. He goes, well, that's why you always smell like a lemon. I thought it was so hilarious. I'm like, do I always smell like a lemon? He said, yes, you smell like a lemon. I'm like, okay, I guess it smells soap. Okay, so there's my 1/3 cup. But you know, if I had to smell like a lemon, I'm perfectly fine with that. Lemons smell really good. So I thought that was so funny. Okay, so let's move our little cutting board. I love these little tiny cutting boards when you don't need a big one. Move that out of the way. Okay, let's put our little bowl back here now. So here we have, I've got my oven preheated to 350 for baking the pie. All right, so then we have all those, and it says we're going to add the water, right? Stir it. I'm going to use this other thing again to stir in the water. Stir in the water. And actually, it says cook and stir. So now that I've got this blended, I'm going to put it in this pan because we got to cook it. So let's put this in here. So if any of y'all have made a from scratch lemon meringue pie, even my mother, when she made lemon meringue pie, she just always used the Jell-O pudding box recipe. And it was okay. It was just not bad. But I thought, homemade's going to be so much better. Still got loose stuff in there. There we go. I love this little bowl. It's so pretty. All right, so there's that in there. Then we're going to add in our pan. Then we're going to add our water, 1.5 cups of water. And then we're going to stir that. Okay, so it says stir in water. Cook and stir over medium-high heat. So I'm going to put it over here on my burner. Medium-high heat. And honestly, I don't know how long that's going to take. Hopefully, it says cook and stir, so I assume it's so it doesn't stick. I think I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'm going to move it over closer so you're not looking from a mile away. There, so right now it just looks like milk, doesn't it? But it's not. It's sugar and water and flour and cornstarch and a little bit of salt. Now, I thought this would have used all lemon juice, but it doesn't. It uses water. So what do I know? The lemon curd does not use water. The lemon curd is all lemon juice. But this, now, while it does call for zest, I'm not an incredible fan of zest because zest messes up with the smoothness of the custard. And zest, to me, I can taste little bits of something. I don't really like zest. I like it smooth and creamy with no little bits of stuff in there. So instead of zest, if you don't have lemon zest or you don't like the zest, it's not hard, but I just don't like the pieces of, it's tough. So I just don't like the pieces of zest. So what I prefer is lemon extract. So what you do, I even looked it up to make sure, you use half the amount. So if it says it needs a teaspoon of lemon zest, use half a teaspoon of lemon extract, and it does the same thing. So I like to use lemon extract, and then you don't get little bits of hard things in your custard. Okay, so now let's see what my instructions tell me to do next. Cook and stir over medium-high heat until thick and bubbly. Then we're going to reduce the heat and stir it for 2 minutes more and remove from heat. Then we're going to do egg yolks. Okay, so this calls for 3 egg yolks. Okay, so here, let's do this. Let's move that. There we go. So I'm going to take my eggs. That's hot. I'm trying to get it where we can see. I'm going to show you what I do. There you go. There's my little bowl. So I've got the eggs here. They're room temperature, because if you're going to put something hot in them, you do not want to start with cold eggs. So they're room temperature eggs, and I'm going to separate them because I'm going to use the, I need a bigger bowl than this. I'm going to use these egg whites as well. Where is a good bowl? Oh, here's a good bowl right here. It's a pretty bowl. Okay, that's going to be my egg white bowl. That's a little stackable bowls. Okay, I'm going to get my light back here. Okay, so I'm going to put the egg whites in there. But I want to make sure you don't want to start off trying to mix them, or you're going to end up with, if you get yolk in there, they will not make it, you won't whip the egg whites. Never. It will never work. Cannot have even a speck of yolk in there. So I'm just going through with this and stirring. Make sure it's not sticking. Okay, so here's how I do this. I saw this. My hands are clean. I washed them. This is how I saw this one time. Is the easiest way to do this. There's all kind of ways. But the easiest way to make sure it don't get in there is put it in your hand. Because you can then hold it and control it. You can pull the egg whites through and you hold the yolk in your hand. And it lets all the yolk, it lets the yolk stay in and the egg white fall through. Look at there. Just make sure your hands are really clean. Okay, so then there's my one egg white. I'm going to put in this bowl and save. And get rid of this part right here. Then we're going to do another one. Now, even though it says 3 egg yolks, the recipe calls for 4 egg whites to make the meringue. You can make it with just 3 and just have less meringue. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do the 4. I want extra meringue. That one is trying to slip through my fingers. So you can kind of pinch that egg white. Just don't pinch the yolk. Come on, I need the rest of that egg white to go through my fingers. It don't want to let go. Woohoo! Come on, baby. See, it's hanging under my hand, and I can pinch my fingers together and get it off of there. Maybe. It doesn't want to do it. Okay. There we got it. There we got it. Okay, so I'm going to put this yolk with the other one and put the white in my little storage bowl. Don't make the mistake of trying to do it in the bowl that's already got 2 or 3, because if you ruin one, then you ruin them all. Oh, we are getting thick here. I'm probably going to have to stop and keep stirring this. That stuff is settling in the bottom, and we don't want that. Might turn it down just a little. Make sure it's good. Okay, we're good. Yep, keep my eye on that. And I'm going to do one more egg. There we go. You can. A lot of people go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with a shell. You can do that too. But that also gives you the risk of cutting the yolk on the shell. So I don't really like to do that. Okay, that's like I'm pulling it from underneath, and that will just like pull that white right off of there. There we go. Oh, almost put it in the wrong one. All right, there's 3 egg whites and 3 egg yolks. So I'm going to add another egg white to that in a little while, but I don't need an extra yolk. So I'm going to now go back and stir this before I have a disaster. Oh, that's getting nice and thick. Look at that. Now I'm going to switch again to this spoon. This is like a bamboo spoon. So this is getting real nice and thick. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Uh-oh, I'm splashing it out. Just pretend you didn't see that. So it says boil it, and I think we are boiling. So then it says reduce heat and stir it for 2 minutes. So this looks like lemon, like white pie. It does look like the pie filling with just no lemon in it. Cook and stir for 2 minutes. I guess I should set my timer. I'll set my timer. I'm watching the clock, but I don't know how much far it's into that minute. Let me get these egg yolks off of the stove. Even though that burner is not on. It's a little warm here because I got the oven on. Okay. Turning down, turning down. Then it says remove from heat, so I'm going to remove it from heat as soon as we get our 2 minutes going here. Yeah, this is a nice, ooh, look at that. This is, right now this is sugar pie. It's sugar, that's all. Would have no flavor, but it would be sweet. This, doesn't that look like the nice filling for lemon meringue pie? Man. All right. So stir and cook, stir and cook. I can't say the words. Cook and stir and cook. Okay, I like this spoon. It's kind of flat on the bottom as it scrapes the bottom real well. Then we have to temper the egg yolks. Now if you don't know how to do that, it's real easy. You start them with room temperature. I'm going to take this spoon and stir them. But what you have to do is pour just a little bit of the hot liquid into the eggs, because it's like you can't shock the eggs or you just get scrambled eggs. So you have to pour a tiny little bit of this hot into the eggs, and then you stir. And then once you get them kind of used to the heat, where they're like, okay, we're all right. Once you get them used to the heat, then you can put them back in the other pan. Okay, so there's my couple of minutes. Remove from heat. Let me move this out of the way. Move my egg yolks out of the way. And I made a big mess over here. Well, right there, I think that's a bunch of egg yolk goo. I don't know how it fell out of my bowl, but it did. Okay, there we go. Clean that up. Now, the trick to this is you got to stir, and you got to stir steady, and you got to stir fast. So I'm going to take, and I'll be stirring. I'm going to take this hot stuff, and I'm going to dribble. I can't hold the bowl, so we're just going to have to do this. I only have 2 hands. I'm going to dribble some of this heat in here. Just put a little bit. You got to like stir it the whole time, or it'll cook that spot. You know, you can't cook the spot. Oops, I'm making a mess. Trying to get a little bit more. Here we go. This hot stuff back in here again, a little bit more. The more you put in here, the better it's, more used to it it's going to be. Okay. A little bit more. I think you really only have to do this the one time, but I just like to really make sure. I really don't want scrambled eggs in my pie. And then once you get that off of here, then you take your pan, and then you can pour this into the pan, but then you want to start stirring here. These eggs will make it set up too. Although that lemon curd has eggs in it, it did not work in pie. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the spoon. Then I'm going to also scrape this out. Get all that in there. I want to quickly go. So I really need a third hand. But we're doing the best we can here. Okay. So I've got that in there. Stir, stir, stir. Okay, I say that's about it right there. So now we've got a nice yellow, no scrambled eggs in there. Nice yellow gel. Okay, let me get my instructions here. What does it say we do next? Since this is new, I'm kind of half going here. All right, reduce heat, cook and stir 2 minutes, remove from heat, temper egg yolks. Yep, stirring, bring to gentle boil. Okay, so we got to cook it again. Bring to gentle boil. Which probably shouldn't take that long since it was boiling a little while ago. This is going to be so good. Oh, it looks like it's going to turn out good. Stir and boil. Stir and boil. Okay. Now this meringue that I'm going to make, this recipe actually calls for what I believe it's an Italian meringue. I think it's what it is. So what you do with an Italian meringue, and I'm not going to do it, but this is what you do. You whip your egg whites till they're, I don't remember soft peaks, but you get them whipped to a certain degree. And then you take sugar and you melt that down in water. You have like a sugar syrup that's like boiling hot. And then you turn on your beater and you pour it into the eggs and you get more like a candy-ish meringue. That's Italian meringue. That's what this recipe says to do, but I like regular old meringue. So I'm going to, okay, that's actually slightly back to boiling. Then I'm going to stir it 2 more minutes. I'm not going to make that meringue. I'm going to make regular old meringue. Because it's a little bit more cooking. It's a little hotter. It's a little bit more work. And I know how to make the other meringue. Okay. I know the other one will turn out. For sure. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to cook and stir again. I think it says that. Stir 2 minutes longer, remove from heat. Stir in, then we're going to stir in some butter. Okay, the butter we have is 2 tablespoons of butter. That'll give it some nice gloss too. The zest, which I'm not going to do, so I'm going to do instead, I'll have 3/4 of a teaspoon of lemon extract. Or you can do 1.5 teaspoons, which is the double of the lemon zest. Okay, if you want to do zest. Just make sure you wash the lemons really well. Okay, and then you're going to add the lemon juice, and then we're ready to pour it into the crust. All right. I've got this on low. I want that to be really low. So we're now stirring this again. 2 more minutes, it says. Just looking how we seem to be pretty good here. Okay, so then we just got to get to our 2 minutes. I just been kind of throwing everything here. I'm making kind of a mess. I'm going to get my egg yolk bowl full of water. I don't want those egg yolks to turn into glue. Oops, let's don't set our recipe on fire either. We might not want to do that. Okay, my egg yolk bowl. So if you've ever heard the term temper eggs, if you didn't already know what that was, you see that's not hard. Just a little temperature trick is all. But if you can't pour even room temperature eggs into direct heat, it's just like pouring them in a hot pan. You'll just cook the eggs. And it's interesting to me how tempering them like tricks them to where they don't cook. And it really works. All right, I'm also going to get a little scraper, one of these. So when I'm going to put it in the pie. Oh, there's my time. Okay, off the heat. That's not a hot thing. Okay, then it says add the butter, right? Is that what it said next? Stir in the butter. Okay, here's the butter, and that should melt right away. And this is room temperature butter right now, too. That's unsalted butter. You probably could use salted butter. I've cooked with salted butter and unsalted butter. Can't even hardly tell the difference. This does have salt in it, though, this recipe, so you don't really need salted in the butter. So this is unsalted. But if you don't have it, use salted butter. You'll never even know. If you're real sensitive to salt, maybe you will. But I can never tell. But I still use unsalted. This one doesn't even say which to use. So do what makes you happy with the butter. Just don't use margarine. Margarine does not work well with baking. It separates. It just, bleh, and it tastes terrible. Okay, and it's actually worse for you. All right, so let's take our lemon extract. So we're going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon in place of our zest. Lemon extract makes it real super lemony. There's 1/4, 2/4. It's got like the lemon oil in place of what the zest would have. 3/4. Okay, so then that's done. Rinse off my little spoon because I had to use that again. Stir that. And then we're going to stir in our lemon juice. That's 1/3 cup of lemon juice. Put put that in. And that is our filling. Look at there. A little sloshy right now. Maybe I should go back to the whisk. Let's see if we can make this work. Then, once we get our filling in, then we're going to make our meringue. Put the meringue on, we will be done. Well, then you got to bake it. So after you put the meringue on at 350 degrees, it says bake it for 25 minutes or until the meringue is browned. Like I said, I am not starting with a raw pie crust. It has been partially like baked. It is baked, but just not till it's real brown. Hey, look how beautiful. And you know what I want to do? I want to taste it. Oh, it's hot. Hot. Oh, yeah. That's lemon. That's going to be good. That's going to be a good pie, I think. Okay. So now, let's take our filling. Now, I did not get a deep dish pie crust. I got a regular one. I always think of lemon meringue pie as kind of being a more thin pie. But it didn't tell me which kind to get, so I'm hoping it's going to fit in this pan. And I don't know. I'm going to find out. Maybe I should have taken this crust out and put it in a different dish at least, but I didn't. Okay, here we go. Pouring it in. Please fit in the pie. No spilling out, please. And then you got to top it with meringue. Then when you do the meringue, you want to seal it in so the meringue doesn't pull away and shrink. Man, that looks good. Oh, it's going to fill it. It is going to fill it. Might have to lick this pan. Anybody want to lick this pan? If you like lemon gel. Okay. And let's try to put this even. Oh, look at that. Boy, it goes to the top of this thing. I think I'm going to put this on a tray. Pay no mind while I lick the spatula. Oh, yeah. I wonder how many calories that was. I don't know. I do know how many calories the whole pie is. Or the slice of pie. I don't know how many calories are in licking the spatula. Okay, no more licking the spatula. Now, put it in the sink. I'll quit licking it. I'm going to take a... It doesn't tell you to do this, but I don't need that crust browned anymore because I've already kind of pre-cooked it on the bottom. So I'm going to put it in here. It's easier to move this anyway. Put that on a tray. Like I said, it doesn't say to do that, but I'm doing it. Easier to move in and out. And if we have any spillover, because that's up to the tippy top, then we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I'm going to take, right here, I'm going to do another egg yolk since it said 4. It's going to give me a lot of meringue. I usually only do 3 eggs for meringue, but it doesn't give you a whole super lot. So that's why there was mess on my counter, because I'm putting these shells down there. I'm like, how did I spill that? I didn't. I'm putting these shells on the counter. That's how. Now this egg yolk, you just either have to throw it away or cook yourself an egg yolk or something. Do whatever you want with it. That's why if you don't want to waste an egg yolk, you can always just, if you don't want to cook it or you don't do anything with it, you can always just make 3 egg yolk meringue. Okay, so here's my 4 now egg yolks. And my mixer. We move this all back over here so we can get to the mixer. Let me unplug my phone and slide this back over here. Woo! Please don't fall. Okay, we'll go over here to the mixer. I'm having a little catastrophes kind of going on here. There we go. Knocking over my vanilla. I'm doing all kind of stuff. But there is going to be, don't fall. There's that. Okay. So I'm going to put in, this has got the whisk attachment on it. I'm going to put in all 4 egg yolks, or not yolks, whites. Keep saying it wrong, but it's whites. And I'm going to turn this on, and it's going to be loud. Sorry about that. starting to get foamy. Now here I have a half a cup of sugar, regular sugar, and I'm going to gradually add this in while it's beating to have sweetened meringue. There we go. Now you can see. So it's 2 tablespoons of sugar per egg white. That's a half a cup. And you want this to melt as much as it can. It's a big lump, but it'll whip it. I just kind of gradually sprinkle this in. Now there may be a more perfect way to do it, but this works pretty good. Hi, how are you doing? I'm making lemon meringue pie. Sorry it's so loud. For my mother for tomorrow. She loves lemon meringue pie. Okay, there's our half a cup of sugar in the meringue. Then I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. You see how much I bake? I get the monster size vanilla. And I don't use imitation vanilla. That's just nasty. It's bitter. Get real vanilla, even though it costs a fortune. And yes, this is cheaper to buy like this than in them little bottles. All right. Let's look and see what we got here. We got sugar all over the place is what we have here. Let's look and see what our peaks look like. Now you want it to be stiff peaks. So let's see what we got. So pick up your beater. Okay, see how that's kind of saggy? That's not quite stiff peaks. So we're just going to beat it a little bit more. Now you could use it like this. It'd be okay. But they get a little kind of more dried out, a little drier. I'm going to take my spatula here. See if we can't scrape the sides. I don't usually have to scrape the sides because my regular beater is a silicone beater that scrapes the edges, but this one doesn't. This whisk one does not scrape edges. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. There we go. Doesn't that look good? You want to come over with me and Mom tomorrow, you can have some lemon pie. All right, let's check it again. Now, another reason I like to make a pie, since it's just me and Mom, Dad's in a nursing home, and we can't go visit him right now. But it's just me and Mom. My brother and sister, they'll do their own thing. We don't usually get together as a whole big thing. But the pie is not too much for just a couple of people. So she can have a little bit of leftovers, and you make a whole cake. You got cake for weeks, and when you're on a diet, that's not good. Now, I can eat pie on my diet. It just means I have to eat less of other stuff, but that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice. Okay, so here we go. Now, see how that's a little stiffer? It's not as, like, runny or shaky like it was before. So that, to me, that's good right there. So let's shake it out of the beater. And then we're going to go over here to the pie. Our homemade filling. I'm going to unplug my phone rather than try to keep moving the plug because we're almost done. Okay, here's my pie. Oh, look at that. Just pay no attention to the well-weathered pan. It's just an underpan. They get like that. Okay, so here we go. Now, the trick to the meringue is you've got to make sure you seal your edges. If you don't seal your edges and you don't have it like overlap the edges, when you bake it, the meringue will shrink up and you'll have outline with no meringue at it. So you want to make sure that you put this meringue to the edge. So what I do is, you see, you have to kind of like lay it. I start at the edge. And yes, I'm kind of going a little far. I would rather overdo the edge than underdo the edge and have it shrink. So if I overdo it, I'm okay with that. But you can't really spread very well on this. So you kind of just have to, and again, my hands are clean. You kind of just have to place it. This is how I do it. Now, if you could put this in a piping bag and pipe it. But you know, I'm good with this. It looks more homemade this way. But you kind of just lay it there. And I always just start with the edge because that's the part I've got to make sure I do. So I go around on the edge, get my edge done, and then I just pile the rest in the middle. And like I said, you kind of plopping it on here. You're not spreading much. If you try to spread, you're going to move all your filling and it's going to be uneven when you cut it. And it might cut, you know, you might push it out the other side. You know, it just doesn't work well. So just lay it, plop it. This is my own, you know, I didn't read that anywhere. It's just my own doings. I have over the years just figured out how I can make it work better for me. And this is it. Put it on the edge. Make sure you've got that well covered. And yes, I'm going a little far on the edge, but yeah. Like I said, overdo is better than underdo. And then we're going to take the rest. And we're just going to kind of plop it in here. This keeps your filling kind of in place better than trying to spread. See, I'm not really spreading, I'm just kind of smoothing. Okay, so then a little bit more here. I got some nice peaks in this. Now, a lot of people like to do this with the pie. You can do that. You know, make the little, where it's got these little peaks like that, and it's real pretty. But I don't really like doing that because then what happens is you get really brown or black little points. Now, if you like that, that's perfectly fine. But I like the whole meringue to be brown because it gets kind of crispy, more like a cookie-ish candy thing. I like the meringue to be brown on the top because that's my favorite part. If you don't particularly care, then you can make the little peaks and get the little crunchy peaks. I like it smooth. So whatever you like, you can do it like this or you can do this. Whatever you want. Most people, I think, like that little peak thing. I like it like this because it just browns more even. And then you get more of that. It's like what is it, the sugar, like when you put it on creme brulee and it caramelizes. This, more of it caramelizes when it's smooth, and that's my favorite part. So here we go. Now I still have some little waves in it from this, so it's hard to get it all off of here. So there we go. There is our lemon meringue pie. Now it says 350 degrees for 25 minutes. We got the perfect Mother's Day pie for my mother. She will be so excited. She doesn't know I'm doing this. She will be so ecstatic because she loves lemon meringue pie. And I don't think she's had it for a while. She certainly hadn't had this recipe because it's the first time I've ever made this one. So we are hoping this turns out good. So my oven is ready. Might want to turn my burner off now since I'm done. And then I'm going to put this in the oven and set that for 25 minutes. And there we go. Hold on here. Set my timer. Oop, that went too far. 25 minutes. And we're going to have that. All right, let me get this flipped around. There we go. All right, so you have now gotten the lemon meringue pie recipe. So you can go back to the beginning and watch. I will post a picture of the pie and I will post the recipe as well. Although I'll probably have to kind of redo it because I didn't do the meringue instead. I'll post the original recipe and then tell you what I did. How's that? Just the meringue I did different. I didn't do the Italian meringue. I did a regular meringue. And so I'll show you that at the end. And I hope that you try making this yourself and that you enjoy it. And since it's the first time I made this recipe, I'm really hoping it works out. So you have a good night. And until tomorrow, may you go be amazing. Bye.